To the 2014 Midwest Showdown here at McGee Sports in Mason, Ohio. Alongside my color commentator Jonathan Hemingway, I'm Dean Krause. And we have a Platinum Division matchup between the Western Pennsylvania Bruins and the Havoc City Elite, as the Bruins win the tip and get the first bucket. And Jonathan, go into detail more about Havoc City. Tell us what they do and what they're good at.
Well, Dean, first of all, it's good to be here with you on the mic. And yes, we got a good matchup here between Havoc City and the WPA Bruins. Havoc City, you'll notice, very guard-oriented, and much like the name on the front of their jersey, they like to create a lot of havoc, with defense and trapping, shooting the gaps and things like that. One player to watch for them specifically, number 0 for them in white, that's Kiera Smith, currently ranked number 16 in the class of 2016, as by ProspectsNation.com. The lefty lead guard is definitely a player to watch, so let's get back to it.
Yeah, and Western Pennsylvania gets up to an early 4-0 lead with a couple of steals from a couple of their guards. And Jonathan, you mentioned to me earlier, before we even got on the broadcast, that the Bruins had a couple of players go D1 last year. So they have a pretty good program going on in Western Pennsylvania, but there is going to be a foul called. And Kiera Smith will take it out of bounds just right in front of us. And taking the ball is Jada Graves. She kicks it out to the wing for a three-point bucket, and she knocks it home. That's Megan Hendrick with her first 3 of the ball game.
And right on cue here, Dean, you see that Havoc City, right after the made bucket, comes out with full court pressure. The 2-2-1 press, and that's what they're going to try to do. They like to play that up-tempo style, and you can see here right off of the made bucket coming back right the other direction, trying to start that transition game.
And there you see this time, just going a little too ahead of themselves. The pass was too high there, intended for Taisha Moore. There they are with that press. And Western Pennsylvania trying to get across half court. Now they're going to set up their offensive set. And a little floater is no good. Rebounded by Havoc City. And a quick transition bucket put up by Jada Graves. Now there will be a timeout, as it is a 6-5 ball game, 2 minutes into the game. And it looks like Western Pennsylvania, their coach is not too happy right now with what's going on. You can see screaming and yelling down there in the huddle.
Well, they got off to a good start, Dean, with a couple of jumpers right there. And right now, obviously, what they're talking about is, making the adjustment to the type of style, Havoc City's going to bring out here, talking about defensive transition, not giving up easy baskets. Even after they make a basket, that's not the time to relax. But instead, you got to make sure that you sprint back and protect the lane.
Now we're going to see the Bruins try their own version of a press breaker, and they do, as they find a man down there. That was Emily Anderson, but she cannot corral the ball, and there's going to be a turnover back to Havoc City. So they do get the ball down low. Looked exactly what they wanted to do there, but they could not capitalize on it. Now here's the star, as Jonathan alluded to, Kiera Smith directing traffic for the Havoc City offense.
We had an opportunity to watch Havoc City last July at our Power 48 tournament with PeachStateBasketball.com. Back in July, Havoc City actually went right down to the buzzer with Team Elite in that championship bracket, and you see number 2 Jada Graves knock down that 3-point jumper there. Graves and Smith were definitely two of the standout performers from the Power 48. Really put themselves on the map as, one of the better up-and-coming younger teams, from around the nation. Most of these kids, 2016 prospects. As you see Smith getting downhill and can't get that to finish. But that 1-2 matchup of Graves and Smith, you talk about point guards, scoring guards, that can score the ball, create off the dribble. But they've got good size as well, too. Both of them right around 5'10" or thereabouts. And now you see, Graves bringing the ball up. That's a very difficult matchup for any team to try to counteract.
Yeah, and we've already seen it early, 3 minutes in. I mean, they're struggling with those two, and there you see another just turnover. This time they end up keeping it, but just looks like the speed is really getting into Western Pennsylvania's head right now. And I know you've definitely seen it. Speed, and it doesn't matter what sport it is going to kill you if you can't, keep up with it.
You're right, Dean. Good observation there. You talk about athleticism, length. All of these kids here are, very good athletes, and right now, WPA's just they've got to make that adjustment, and they've got to be sure with the ball and be able to match that speed and that intensity, with their skill.
Yeah, if they can get something going too. I was watching these ladies even 25 minutes before the matchup. I mean, they've got some girls that can spot up from 20, 25 feet and just knock them down, but they can't get anything going to set up their offensive sets. But if they want it's only 8-6, obviously, a couple minutes into the game, but right now, it's like Havoc City's having their way.
You talk about keys to the game right here, and I think if it's keys to the game for Western Pennsylvania Bruins, it's to make this game, get it to the point where it can be a half-court game, because like you said, they've got some good shooters, they've got some length inside, but right now they're just not able to handle the ball well enough to make it a half-court game. And once Havoc City is able to, create those turnovers, immediately it's a transition game, which feeds right into their strengths.
And there you see already the fourth turnover from WPA. Now for the first time for the Bruins, we are going to see a couple of subs. We're going to see Rebecca Turnray try to combat some of that size down low in the middle. And the three is just off the mark. And coming the other way are the Bruins. But then there's that trap in the corner and stolen away again by Havoc City. And put up with the left hand is Kiera Smith.
As Smith there showing her versatility, off of the ball, being able to, not only just handle the ball, but also being active around the bucket, get a rebound, shoot the floater. So 10-6 here early on. Havoc City definitely having their way with creating a bunch of havoc on either end.
I mean, there's already 5 turnovers created by that half-court trap. I mean, and they already called one timeout, but I mean, if you're the coach right now, I mean, really, what can you do game plan-wise? We obviously talked about it, but in the half-court. But I mean, press breaker's not working. Your half-court set's not working. I mean, obviously we said it's early, but what can you do besides that? I mean,
great question, Dean. And I think at this point, what you've got to talk about as a coach is, just trying to instill that confidence in them, remind them of what they're going to do, and understand that you're not going to be able to play a perfect game. Mistakes are going to happen, but the big thing is being able to play through those mistakes. Making sure that even if you turn the ball over, miss a shot, miss a defensive assignment, whatever the case may be, make sure that you move on to the next one, because this game is not going to be won or lost in just one possession. It's going to be the course of many, and so you've got to be able to string together some good possessions here, and it's going to start just really one play at a time.
And here we see the transition offense. This time she can't convert, but you see it again. Just the speed. Count that, 7 turnovers now, and here's Smith in the other end with the left hand, no good. Gets her own board. Yeah, will be a jump ball and stay with Havoc City. And now Kiera Smith will get a break in favor of Jada Graves. Graves, as Jonathan alluded to, one of those big-bodied guards, can handle the basketball and do whatever she'd like with it. And a nice drive and finish by Marcy Cisco. Her first points of the ball game. Now a 6-point edge in favor of the Elite.
Boy, what a great Wolf attack right there by Havoc City. It looked as if the Bruins had been able to break that defensive pressure, once and for all, and then as soon as they, get it across half court, here comes Havoc City yet again with another trap. But Havoc City makes you play this type of style. You're going to turn it over some. They're going to attack right back on the other end. It's not going to be a pretty game necessarily, but that's the way that they work. And you see, once again, they're always getting hands on the ball, creating deflections, creating turnovers. And you can see why they've had so much success already.
Yeah, they're always in the passing lanes. There's only been a few clear passes this entire game, and there's one of them, even though there was a foul before it. But it seems to me, too, that the Bruins are going too fast. I mean, they're not that quick of a team, and they're just going too fast for their own good right now. I mean, and the speed from Havoc City is just catching up every single time behind them.
And here the Bruins applying some pressure for themselves. And, notice that they did their pressure primarily in the half court there. And anytime the ball was driven to the baseline, they're creating that trap and showing that they can create some turnovers themselves.
The three is just off the mark, but an offensive board and put up by number 21, Kerr. Then it was quickly the other way, but she did travel, was Kristen Horn. 12-8, 9:04 remaining here in this first half of action between the Havoc City Elite and the Western Pennsylvania Bruins here on SUV TV. Dean Krause and there is a foul on Havoc City. Jonathan, the way that Havoc City is playing, it's only 12-8, but that somehow has to favor the Bruins by keeping the score close right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right, and I think that Havoc City thus far has given away some opportunities, by missing some layups and not converting in transition. But they do get that one to go, but you're right, only being down 6, and you've had for the Bruins perspective that is, you've had so many turnovers, thrown the ball away, a number of times to only be down 6 points. If you can kind of get something rolling here, headed into the halftime, try to tie it up or even, flip the score around at some point or another, that should give you some confidence going into the second half.
And now we see the Bruins trying to get in their half-court set, but this time it is stolen away again. But she misses the layup. I mean, there we just talked about the missed opportunities. I mean, this game could very easily be 20-8 right now. But you see Jada Graves doing it all, stealing and getting it out in transition. The three ball rims in and out, offensive board up with the left hand, and one for Kristen Horn.
Kristen Horn is a name that I remember from last year's Power 48. She came up big, doing exactly what you see right there, getting on the offensive glass, getting rebounds, scoring around the bucket. You know, for a team that is so, you know, what we would say guard-centric, you know, they get a lot of their mileage, you know, from their guards and penetrating and creating steals and things like that. Having a kid like Horn that is willing to do the little things, you know, like get offensive rebounds and do the dirty work is important, because not everybody can be a guard, not everybody can be,
Right.
you know, a driver and a shooter. You're going to need some, you know, some people to clean up the loose ends, you know, so to speak, from time to time, and that's what Horn does for this Havoc team.
And the and one opportunity is missed. And quickly across the timeline, here comes the Bruins. Now they will set up an offensive set and try to get some points out of this. And again, the basket is missed. And going coast to coast is Jada Graves, as she is fouled and go to the free throw line to shoot 2. But she had the intent of taking that herself the entire way, going through whoever she had to.
Yeah, you're right. Graves is very tough to stop, heading downhill with the ball. And you know, her and Smith alike, you know, they're so big, quick, and strong all at once. Just your average guard is going to have, you know, some difficulty being able to stop them in that way.
Yeah, the Bruins are playing their own Havoc City basketball there with the trap.
You know, there's an old saying in coaching that said teams that press don't like to be pressed, and you're starting to see a little bit of that right now. As the past couple of possessions, the Bruins have been able to create some turnovers, you know, from Havoc City.
And then they just do that, though. They kill themselves. I mean, trying to be a little too fancy with the basketball there.
Yeah. It's going to take some adjustment, and I think, you know, from an individual standpoint, each individual player has to reflect and say, hey, these girls are playing a little faster. They're anticipating our passes, you know, a little bit more. You know, what can I do to make sure that I take care of the basketball? And it's simple things like making a pass fake, looking one way, the pass in the other direction. Because if you telegraph your passes, you know, if you act too deliberately, pass too slowly, you know, those type of things are going to turn into turnovers. And right now the Bruins have not made the adjustment overall.
I'm not sure what the confusion is over there, but the Havoc City coach is pretty fired up. Might have thought that went out on the Bruins, but they will retain possession, down by 9. And swinging it around the horn. Looking to create some offense. They have yet to have any successful offensive set, as the foul will be called on Marcy Cisco. That's Cisco's second. And another foul on Cisco. Now she will go out of the game as she commits her third foul with 6:56 remaining here in this first half. Now here's Elena Gribble for 3. Nothing but net to cut the lead. Down to 6.
Gribble was a kid that we saw last year, as a matter of fact, here at the Midwest Showdown. Shooting specialist, got good size. You know, and you mentioned at the top of the program, you know, the history that the Bruins have had, you know, over the past few years. You know, they've had elite 100 prospects such as Yassine Diop that signed with Pittsburgh last year, 2014 prospect, was in our top 50 on prospectsnation.com. Then you also talk about Aaron Matthias, 6'4" post player that's signed to go to Duke University, also on an elite 100 prospect. And then Najee Gibson as well was an elite 150 prospect. Had a fantastic showing last year at the Midwest Showdown. She too also signed in-state there at Pittsburgh University. So, you know, the Bruins have had some success, you know, in the past with, you know, some prospects going on to the next level. And they've got a team right here that is certainly poised to, have a number of college scholarship basketball players at the next level too.
Now you talk about the prospect. What goes, for the people that don't know, what goes into grading prospects? Are they a top pick at number 1 or they're down at number 100? What goes into all of that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and there's really no easy answer to all of that because, in the end, you're just dealing with people's opinions. But for us at ProspectsNation.com, we have a group of 4 of us. Myself, Brandon Clay, that is the owner and CEO of Peach State Basketball. Chris Hansen, who is the managing editor of ProspectsNation.com, and then also Kyle Moore, who is our director of international scouting, and also the director of scouting for the JumpOffPlus.com. All 4 of us, watch basketball. I want to say nearly 30 weekends out of the year. We travel to tournaments, such as this right here at the Midwest Showdown, as well as various other tournaments that we host at Peach State basketball events, and of course all of the big ones too. Kyle Moore hits all of the big tournaments nationwide, whether it's the DFW Flavor Jam, in Dallas, or even over on the West Coast. So all of us together, we take our notes, compile our notes together. We talk about who we like, which kids are playing well, who has not played so well, and at that point we rank them as we were a college coach, starting a program from scratch, much like an NBA draft board, if you will. Who's the number 1 prospect, on the board, and just try to rank it, in that way. Our number 1 player last year in 2014 was actually a local prospect, Kelsey Mitchell, and went to Princeton High School.
Yep.
I'm sure you're familiar with her.
Mm-hmm.
Left-handed scoring guard. We felt like, and there were a number of other 5-star prospects that we were very high on too. Asia Wilson was our number 2 prospect, currently signed to South Carolina. But we felt like Mitchell, regardless of what situation you put her in, she's going to be a kid that's going to be a threat to score double digits, or if not be a leading scorer on the team regardless. So that kind of gives you, I hope it gives you a little bit of insight when it comes to rankings.
Yeah, I remember Kelsey Mitchell. I called the Final Four this year, and they were playing North Canton Hoover, and she put up 35 like it was no big deal, right in front of her Ohio State coaching staff. I mean, that heck of a player in Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah, we've had the pleasure of broadcasting a number of Kelsey's games, and if you go back to the ProspectsNation.com archives, you can find several highlights on her, and she's been a fantastic prospect over the years, and I foresee big things for her in Buckeye Land in the future.
4:42 remaining here. This first half of action, 19-11 is the score. The Bruins still hanging in there, but now have an astounding 10 turnovers in this first half, and 8 of them have been from behind, whether it be Jada Graves or Kiara Smith. Just very sneaky fast.
Yes,
as you would call it.
I like that term, Dean. That's pretty good. You see a big kid like that handling the ball, and you think, she's not that quick, and then all of a sudden she's just right past you. But she's got a fantastic mid-range game. I think that's the reason why we currently have her slated at number 16 in the country in the class of 2016, is the fact that she can get past that defender, and then she's big enough, long enough to be able to shoot over those defenders there in the lane. A very tough matchup.
And there is a resounding echo right now going through the gym, and that is the Bruins head coach just screaming. And that right there is your perfect example of tough love.
He's none too happy right now, but sometimes as a coach, you've got to push some buttons. And, you would call that the nuclear option, I guess you could say. But, it's frustrating as a coach when you know that your team is much more capable than, what they're performing. And you're out here, in a big tournament. You've had some success already. And then you just start to see things, unravel. And you've got to find a way to motivate your kids to come together.
Yeah, I don't care what team you are. If you have 14 turnovers, that is another 14th. If you have 14 turnovers in one half, you can have the best players in the country. You're not going to win like that.
No.
Got to take care of the basketball, and that's something the Bruins have failed to do thus far. And they're down 12, and the lead just keeps getting bigger.
Well, it's certainly not, excuse me, Dean, it's certainly not out of reach by any means. They've got some talented kids, and I like we talked about game keys, making it a half-court game. Just like that right there. There was a double team, and I believe it was Gribble over there on the wing that was able to handle the ball, not throw it away, found her teammate there in the high post, and it turned into an easy high-low. But it all starts with just making two good passes, and something good is going to happen.
Yeah, and there you see it. Now they're going to go to the free throw line. They can just get a couple more stops here. You're right, they would be just back into this ball game. Havoc City on the other side electing to go for jump shots rather than drive the basketball on the last three possessions.
Right. And that's when you're a driving team, you've had success driving the ball, getting it into the lane. And you don't go away with, don't go away from what works.
Now here's a three in the corner, another air ball. So now we'll go back to the Bruins down 9 with 3:05 to go in this first half. They can just put a little bit of a run together here. Get a couple more stops and maybe climb within 2 or 3, even just going into halftime. That'll do wonders for confidence. And we'll stay with the Bruins.
You mentioned that word confidence, and that's such a big word. You see right there a jumper knocked down there by number 3.
Desiree Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver hits that right there. And a lot of times all it takes for a little confidence is just a couple of plays to go right for you. And you want those things to happen, sooner than later. You see right here on cue.
Yeah, right now a 7-0 run here in the last minute and a half from the Bruins. Climbing back to 5 points.
And it's interesting, you pointed out the fact that Havoc City was taking jumpers, instead of driving it to the bucket. And a lot of times bad shots can lead to good shots for the other team. Many times players don't understand how one end of the court can affect the other end of the court, and this is what we're seeing right now is the fact that bad offense is in fact turning into bad defense for Havoc City. We saw that quite evidently by the Bruins,
right.
In the first half of this particular half right here, where the Bruins were turning it over, not even being able to get shots, and was actually leading the layups on the other end for Havoc City.
I know all these players, they watch, college basketball, the NBA, whatever it may be. A perfect example of that this year was the Connecticut Huskies. Kevin Ollie and that team, they took advantage of every single bad shot that their opponents did this year, particularly in the Michigan State game this year. Shabazz Napier just took advantage of every single ill-advised shot, and that's why they ended up being the national champions this year. I mean, that's one of the things, if you want to be a successful team, you got to take advantage of every opportunity.
Very well put right there is the fact that a bad shot oftentimes leads to a transition opportunity. If you take a shot with your point guard in the lane, a jumper from the corner, that's going to lead to an easy run out. So sometimes those little tactical things play a much bigger role in the success or failure of your team than a lot of times kids even realize.
I believe they're going to get Kristen Horn with the reach in the corner. It is 7. They are now in the bonus. So it will be Desiree Oliver going to the line to shoot 1-and-1. Oliver just knocked down a 15-foot jump shot not too long ago, and now she continues to feel it from the free throw line. Now we have a 3-point ball game.
Wow, and just a moment ago, Dean, it was 23-11 in favor of Havoc City, and a couple of possessions now turn this right into a 3-point game.
Yeah, and one thing I've definitely noticed lately is even when they're trying to get in the half-court offense and drive to the lane, the Bruins are doing a lot better. They're doing a better job at closing off the lane. They're getting there this time. They're closing off the baseline. They're not letting any more easy layups fall. So obviously, you know, they noticed something that can help them in their defense.
Without a doubt, they've made this adjustment to a 2-3 zone, or not necessarily a matchup zone, but there's an example of a breakdown of what you were talking about. They weren't allowing those straight line drives. You know, if you're playing a 2-3 zone, you got those two guards up there at the top. At no point should a guard be able to, split those two defenders. And here, number 10 from Havoc City, her name is Megan Hendrick, was able to do that. Now, Hendrick was able to do that because I don't think the Bruins were anticipating her do that. They had seen her, previously, hit some jump shots. They thought that she was primarily a standing shooter. Hendrick showing, hey, I'm not just a standing shooter. I can put it on the floor too.
And with those 2 points now, that ends a 3.5-minute scoring drive for Havoc City. Still, they have not hit a field goal in that time, though. Now here the Bruins are with 1:23 remaining, trying to get more buckets for the half, and it is airball and go back to Havoc City.
And now even a shot like that looks bad, it's an air ball, it's not a bad shot. They had reversed the ball, at least once. They got a jump shot, and it fell out of bounds, so it didn't lead to a transition opportunity.
And now another jump shot off the mark. That time by number 6, Mariah Crisp. Now quickly, here's Oliver drawing contact in the foul and go to the line to shoot 2.
Now you'll notice as well, this is a little personnel side note here. Both Smith and Graves are on the bench. So if the Bruins are going to make a run to cut into this lead, they need to do it when Havoc City has their 2 best players on the bench, and I think that's exactly what you see right now.
And it seems like the tempo of the game has slowed down in the last 5 minutes as well. I don't know if that's part of both teams' defense is getting settled in finally, or what do you attribute that to?
I think you got to credit the Bruins for making the adjustment. Not making the careless turnover. You're still going to turn it over against Havoc City because they just put too much pressure on you. But you can't have the unforced turnovers. You can't have, the turnover where you just, slowly lob it, over the zone and, it turns into a transition break. The Bruins have cut those careless turnovers out, I should say. And as a result, they're getting more shots. They're able to transition back on defense, and the game slows down and allows them to play at the tempo that favors them. Havoc City, on the other hand, well, they don't create as many turnovers because the Bruins have made that adjustment. They've gotten tempted into taking too many jump shots, and as a result, you see this is playing right into the favor of WPA Bruins.
Now this is the closest the Bruins are to Havoc City. So that's a 14-minute mark earlier in the first half. It's now 25-24 with 38 ticks remaining. Now it is a 13-2 run in the last 5 minutes.
At the beginning of this game, Dean, I thought we were going to have a lot of dead time in the second half trying to fill it in with stuff to talk about because it was looking like maybe a running clock situation, but credit the Bruins for coming right out and cutting this in. But guess who checked back in the game, Dean?
Well, there she is. There's Kiera Smith. Already making an impact right when she checks in, gets a steal. Cannot convert on the bucket, but her presence is definitely felt when she's out there.
Yeah, you saw it on the baseline drive. She's a tough cover.
And the buzzer sounds with I believe there will be 2 free throws before the end of the half. And there will be, and that is going to be number 21, Madison Kerr. But the way Havoc City started and the way they finished, it was really a tale of 2 halves in 1 half.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit 1 field goal in the last 5.5 minutes of the first half.
Right. Well, again, let's give credit to the Bruins for making the adjustment, handling the ball better, slowing the game down, and then also playing some better defense, not giving up the easy transition points and doing a good job on the defensive glass.
All right. You're watching the Midwest Showdown here at SUV TV. We'll be back shortly after these brief messages.
I have teamed up with Better Basketball to create Coach Fit, a workout program designed specifically for coaches to stay fit during the basketball season. Each workout can be done in 15 minutes, followed in real time on any smartphone, tablet, or laptop, performed right on the court before or after practice, completed with minimal equipment, and can be utilized by your entire staff.
Are you hanging in there? Come on, man. Come on, stay with me, guys. Your whole staff should be doing this right now. Make your team better.
For coaches that travel, we've developed workouts you can do in your hotel room or in your hotel fitness center.
Most coaches, they gain weight. They get out of shape during the season. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna get in great shape. We're gonna get in the best shape of our life this season.
Are you ready to look better, feel better, and coach better this season? Sign up today at betterbasketballtribe.com/coachfit.
Back at McGee's Courts for Sports here in Mason, Ohio for this Midwest Showdown in the Platinum level. It is the Havoc City Elite and the Western Pennsylvania Bruins The Bruins just down by 1 after being down by 12 early, closing out the half on a 15-4 run. It was a tale of 2 halves. As early on, the 2 stars for Havoc City, Jada Graves and Kiera Smith, combining for 7 turnovers and wreaking all sorts of havoc, no pun intended. But as it stands, it is a 1-point game. Now here's Jada Graves trying to inbound the ball. Here's Kiera Smith. Coming on back out in that 2-3 zone are the Bruins. More of a 2-3 trap matchup zone that they are running. Both teams playing that style of defense right now. Try not to give any edge as a 3 is just off the mark. And rebounded by the Bruins. The Bruins trying to take their first lead since very early in this ball game. And here's Oliver pulling over 15 feet, no good. Now quickly out in transition are the 2 stars for Havoc City. No good, but the follow-up rebound. The coach wanted a foul for Havoc City, no call. And now it looks like the first half is back for Havoc City. There's already been 3 changes in possession here in the first minute. And the ball will stay with the Western Pennsylvania Bruins. A minute gone here in this second half. And Western Pennsylvania is still trying to take their first lead since the 15-minute mark in the first half. Swinging it around the horn, and for 3, and she knocks it down. That is the first lead since the 15-minute mark. It's 29-27, 14:30 to go here in this ball game. That was Elena Gribble. Gribble now with 6 points on the ball game. And I believe Kiera Smith got an elbow. Not sure exactly what happened. But as Jonathan alluded to in the first half, we were talking about it, the tempo of this game. It looks like Havoc City is trying to speed it back up. They're slowing it down. It's playing in favor of what Western Pennsylvania wants to do and getting their half-court offense, as we saw with Elena Gribble on the other side of the court, knocking down to 3. The way Havoc City plays is it's a lot like what Michigan State did this year with Gary Harris and Keith Applin. Get out and run the floor, then dish it off to your star guys like Brandon Dawson and Adrian Payne. That's kind of what they do. But when you slow them down to make them the half-court offense, they don't play as well. I'm not sure what exactly the confusion is here. But nonetheless, the Havoc City coach was not happy with whatever the official's decision was. But play resumes. Bruins staying in that 2-3 zone, creating all sorts of problems for Havoc, and Havoc City turns the ball over. And the 2 teams have switched roles, as it seems. Now the Elite are starting to turn the ball over, and the Bruins are starting to play a lot better basketball here as Oliver takes it coast to coast and is fouled on the block. And I believe, not sure if they're going to call it on the floor or on the shot. It looks like the foul was on the floor. Now the officials are deliberating and talking to Havoc City. Now there's going to be a timeout. And maybe a warning of a, I'm not sure if it's going to be a flagrant or if it's just going to be I'm not sure what exactly they're doing, but it was a hard foul down low. And the officials were talking directly to Megan Hendrick. We'll wait to see what the call is on the floor. But just 29-27 with just 2 minutes gone here in the second half. If you're just tuning into SUV TV, the first half of the first half really was the Elite getting out to a 23-11 lead, and there was 14 turnovers in the first 13 minutes of action committed by the Bruins. Then the last 3 minutes of the half, it was all Bruins going on a 15-2 run to close out the first half. And now that's how it stands with a 2-point lead for Western Pennsylvania. Now play will finally resume after that long timeout. And it will be Western Pennsylvania taking the ball out of bounds on the baseline. Without Devin Oliver on the court, who was just fouled hard on the block. And a quick shot from Gribble is just off the mark. There's a rebound by Anderson, and Anderson will go to the line to shoot a couple. Anderson is clearly the tallest player on the court, just reaching right above a couple of the Havoc City Elite players and getting that easy rebound. As she rattles home the first free throw. Now checking back into the game with 3 fouls is Kristen Horn. Horn committed 3 fouls within a span of about 2.5 minutes there in the first half. But obviously the coach has trust in the shooting guard as she knocks down both, and this is the largest lead of the game for Western Pennsylvania at 4 points. Largest lead, of course, for the Elite was 12, and now coming across the timeline are the Elite. Now here's Horn with the left hand. Off the glass, now it's a 2-point edge. And back to the half-court trap are the Elite. Trying to get it across. You can just tell that these are very well-conditioned players on the court. And with the left hand, no good. But now it is a tie ball game. As we see, Jada Graves putting it up strong. But as I was saying, you have to be very well conditioned to do this half-court trap. It takes a lot out of you to go 94 feet up and down the court into half-court press and then get back on defense. And as Jonathan was saying earlier in the first half, if you're a team that presses, usually you don't like to get pressed, but right now we are not seeing that's the case. As they're swinging around the horn. Now she misses with the left hand, rebounded by the Bruins, and it will stay with the Bruins. But that is not like Jada Graves. She missed 2 easy layups down low with the left hand. Basically uncontested. But it is a tie ball game. Now there is going to be a foul, and then she gets smacked. Number 7, Nia Washington, not happy with that foul call, obviously. There's a couple of fans right down in front of us yelling at the officials. Always some officials in the stands. That's how it is in every sporting event. And a kickball violation will stay with the Bruins. And taking the ball out of bounds will be Elena Gribble. Gribble with 9 points. She is 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Now here's Gribble in the double team. And then there is a travel from Karen Pugh. Pugh didn't play many minutes in the first half. only 3 minutes, and now she played 4 minutes in this second half and now checks back out of the ball game. She was one of those shooters that I was watching actually before the game, can knock down the jump shot. Not sure why she's not playing. Obviously, it might be a matchup issue, as that's usually what basketball is, a game of matchups. Here's a cross-court pass over to Hendrick, and now it's going to be a kicked ball. Hendrick was obviously involved in that hard foul down on the opposite block with Oliver. Now we'll see again, there's a shot clock issue. And they're going to wind it all the way down to 15 seconds, and now play will resume with Hendrick taking it out of bounds just right in front of us. It's a tie ball game at 31, 12 minutes from here in this first half of action at McGee's Courts for Sports in Mason, Ohio. I'm Dean Krause with SUV TV, and it's been a really back and forth ball game until now that it's even at 31. There has been a game of runs as the Elite went on a huge run early, and then the Bruins went on a big 15-2 run. But now we see Jada Graves hitting it from NBA range, and now a turnover. But Graves hitting about from 28 feet. And now here's another steal. And a great move to the hole with the left hand is Graves. Now it is a 9-0 run here. Now another steal. This looks exactly like the first half now. Now they will set it back up with 20 to go here on the shot clock. Dribbling around at half court is Mariah Crisp. Crisp is kinging around to Hendrick. Nice pass down low, and awkward shot with the left hand, but does get the foul called is Kristen Horn. But as I said, it is a 9-0 run here in the last 3 minutes of play. Before the Elite, they can strike quick. As I said, they are a sneaky fast ball club, and that was apparent in the last couple possessions by Jada Graves getting 3 steals. The first one is just off the mark. She knocks down one, extend the lead to 6. Now here's Oliver trying to get it across the timeline. She does, but dribbles right into a trap into the corner. And then she ends up traveling. A very good job there in the corner by a horde of white shirts. Over there in the corner was Kristen Horn, Mariah Crisp, and number 7, Nia Washington. All 3 over there causing that turnover by Oliver. And it looks like they have a new life here in the second half. But the Bruins need to go back to what they were doing earlier, as that shot by Nia Washington is knocked home, and now it's 40-31. But the Bruins look like they are flustered again, as they can't even get the ball across half court without it being tipped. Now here's a nice press break, as it's taken all the way and laid in to break that 13-0 run. But quickly the other way is Washington, and now she is fouled. But it looked like the Bruins were content with getting that shot off and then just didn't get back on defense. Not sure exactly what they were doing, but nonetheless, it is now a 7-point game, as Nia Washington, who just hit that very deep 3, going to the line to shoot a couple. And there's a substitution. Essence Kennedy. It's the first time we've called her name today. Now it's back up to a 9-point advantage for the Elite, as we have a 15-2 run. So a pair of 15-2 runs for both teams. And now they are over 20 for the turnover mark in this ball game. Is Western Pennsylvania. They started this half very strong, doing exactly what they did to end the first half in the last 5 minutes. Now they're going back to what they did at the very start of this game. I mean, it's very odd. It's very odd, this game, the ebbs and flows of the way it's been going. So we started off with the Elite dominating like they are now, and then Western Pennsylvania dominated, and now we're seeing it go back to domination from the Elite. So if the first half is any story or indication of the way this game's been going, we will see Western Pennsylvania going another run, but right now the Elite are locked in and playing some very good basketball as they're flying around. I mean, they got ball hawking skills, to use an NFL term. They just know where the basketball is going to be every single time they jump in those passing lanes, and that's equated to this big 17-2 run to open up this first half. Or second half, excuse me. Still in that 2-3 zone are the Bruins, not contesting the ball until they get into the lane. And with a little English is number 11, Kristen Horn, to lay it in there. I mean, that was just too easy walking into the lane. You have a 2-3 matchup zone down there. You got to have someone help down below and switch off their man, and no one did that. They're all just standing around waiting for someone else to take charge as Oliver pulls up from 21 feet and she knocks down the jump shot. And it looks like there will be a timeout for the Western Pennsylvania Bruins. Don't go anywhere. 11-point game here at Courts for Sports. .36-35 is your score here in Mason, Ohio at McGee's Courts for Sports. The Elite coming out on an absolute tear here in this second half of action. They will call a timeout as they dribble into a trap. But it looks like the Western Pennsylvania Bruins will go back to their trap, which actually worked late in that first half. So maybe out of that timeout, that's exactly what happened in the first half. They called a timeout, came back out, and then went on their 15-2 run. But right now, there's no indication that the Bruins are going to get back in this game, as Kiera Smith now checks back in. Have not called her name yet in the second half. Smith, rated number 16 prospect in the 2016 class. Now here's a little bit of a half-court trap by the Bruins. It does not do too much. Now they go back into their 2-3 zone that they've been running the entire game. And the bank is open as the 3 ball is knocked down. Largest lead now is 14 for either side at 49-35 with just under 8 minutes to go. Game's not over yet, but they need a couple stops on the opposite side and they need a couple of quick baskets. The foul is on the floor, so it will stay with the Bruins. Here's Oliver with the right hand and one. So maybe that'll get him going. But they need to go down on the opposite side and get at least 3 straight stops. Force jump shots like they did early on in this game. Because as Jonathan alluded to earlier, they are a driving team with those big guards. So they need to force some jump shots and also get back on defense. As the 15-foot jump shot is knocked home. Here come the Bruins. Here's Oliver. And the 3 ball is knocked home. Her 4th 3 of the ball game. There's Elena Gribble. And now a turnover by the Elite. So this might be the opening that Western Pennsylvania needs here. Down by 11. Just got to find some way to get it across half court without turning it over. A very ill-advised pass does get through. Now here's Oliver in transition. And another turnover. Getting sloppy with the basketball was Essence Kennedy. Dribbling in between traffic. And now favoring the left hand is Jada Graves. See if she tries to cross her up. And she does. Spin move with the left hand. Way short. Now Oliver with the pull-up jump shot. Rattles it home. Now an 8-point ball game. This game's going just like it did earlier. Couple of stops here and there. Couple of buckets. But now Smith is fouled. She misses the first one off the back iron. Now a couple more subs coming for Western Pennsylvania to keep them rested up for the home stretch of this game with 6:18 to go. And she misses both free throws, so that looks like a very good foul there by Western Pennsylvania. Usually they don't work out like that. There they go again, shooting themselves in the foot with Pugh. Just throwing it basically out of bounds. Didn't go off anybody. Looked like she was trying to shoot it, just lost control of the ball. Now here's Smith and Graves playing catch up top. Back to Graves, 4-3. A long rebound is corralled in by Marcia Cisco. I'm not sure exactly what the call was there, if there was a foul or it just went out of bounds off a Bruin. Now here's Graves. Over to Cisco. Thought about shooting. Elects not to. Now here's Hendrick off the glass. No good. So now crunch time. This is exactly where 5 minutes to go. The Bruins made the run in the first half. We'll see if it goes again. Rattles in and out. Now there's going to be a bad foul on Pugh. There's no need to reach in there as it was already hauled in by the Elite. It's one of those, as a coach, you just shake your head. You have no control over. But the last couple of possessions have been very good for the Bruins as they have tightened up their defense and they're finally starting to close down the lane and play some good help defense. For whatever reason, they weren't doing that earlier in the second half, but now they have gone back to what they do best, forcing those jump shots. Now Oliver's got Pugh up top. She likes to take it herself and set up the offense. And great defense there by the Elite as Oliver went coast to coast 94 feet, but he gets blocked and ends up going off of her. And now here's Hendrick. You know, I've noticed one thing that has been apparent in every single one of these games, even around, is the fact that these referees are letting these ladies play as they should be. Since this is summer basketball, let the players decide the action, not the officials. You see that too much in high school and college, regular season basketball. But summer basketball, it's exactly what it should be. Let the players decide the game. And 2 of 2 from the line is Megan Hendrick. Hendrick quietly putting a nice game together. And now another steal here by the Elite. It's easily 20+ turnovers as there is a travel. They have definitely been very sloppy this entire game. And that's really led to this 10-point advantage. You cut a couple of those turnovers out and get a couple of points, we could have a tie ball game here. But a lot of ill-advised cross-court passes and dribbling into traps, just like that one. And a 3 from Gribble. Just off the air, and Gribble gets her a rebound with the left hand, strong, no good. Still fighting for it down low. And a great offensive rebound there by Rebecca Turnray. Turnray trying to get her first points of the ball game. Hasn't played too many minutes, but she definitely has been a force when she's been in there, just getting rebounds. And the first one is short. She converts on 1 of 2. Back to a single-digit ball game. Now here's the trap as Smith just dribbles right around it. Goes coast to coast, misses. Now here's Oliver quickly down the other side of the court. Pulls up for the jump shot, goes in and out. But will stay with WPA. Bringing the ball to bounds is Madison Kerr. Kerr with 4 points today. And that's one thing that's got to be on the scouting report. I'm not sure what WPA was looking at when they drew up some of their plays, but you got to have a way better pass than that if you don't want either Smith or Graves to steal it from you. And there's Oliver. Just off the mark again. That's 3 in a row by Oliver and Gribble that went in and out. Now it's coming down to just under 3:40 remaining. Some of their shots have got to start to fall if they want a chance of winning this ball game. And now it looks like the Elite will start to run this shot clock as it is just under 10 seconds. Here's Smith. With the floater, no good. And the rebound and the putback is no good. Not sure what she was doing there. Number 5, Taisha Moore. She could have kicked it back out and wasted more shot clock. but elected to take it up herself and then goes down at the other opposite side of the court and ends up committing the foul. So not a very good string of possession there by Moore. Now she will check out of the game in favor of Kristen Horn. And I believe that's exactly the same thing that coach noticed over there, was the fact that they could have wasted shot clock. And a nice pass down low. That's Emily Anderson converting on the out of bounds play. Beautifully drawn up. The three ball is no good and it might go out of bounds. It does not though. Saved over there by Megan Hendrick. It is dribbled out of bounds off of Gribble. But now here's a game of wasting the shot clock. They're just going to probably waste it under 10 seconds each and every time now that they have the ball. And Smith has Hendrick over there in the corner for three. No good, but huge offensive rebound. And now they'll waste some more clock as it's just under 2:20 to go. Fouling game starts. Maybe a little too early for that, but they got to get those big defensive rebounds. You cannot let offensive rebounds fly right now this late into the ball game. Those are crucial to time management and even points as she double dribbles. That's a huge turnover by Mariah Chris. That plays into the favor of the Bruins. That's a huge break. If they can get a huge bucket here, they still have a chance, only down by 5, possibly 4 points with 2 minutes to go. Here's Gribble getting it back to Oliver. Now Oliver is looking for somebody. Back to Gribble across the timeline. Offensive board, and it is just out of bounds and is kicked off of Natalie Myers. Myers had a very nice move inside but could not convert on the layup. Got her own board and then it was knocked out of bounds. Here's Smith kicking it around over to Hendrick, and now Hendrick wasting time. Kicked it back to Smith. Now they're just going to go around the three-point arc, around the timeline, just wasting that clock. Now it's kicked over to Crisp. 4 seconds to go. With the left hand, no good, but a huge offensive board. No foul called. Now there's going to be jump ball, possession arrow favoring the Bruins. A huge break. Now Oliver, Justice, with a minute left. And she gets fouled in that half-court trap. There will be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Oliver. Now the question is, with a minute and 13 left, do you try to make the first one and miss the second one intentionally, or do you just take the points here? She is going to make the first one. It is a 6-point game now, but with the shot clock at 30 seconds, it's going to be interesting to see what she does here. She goes ahead and makes both of them. It's now a 5-point game. Now they need a stop or a steal. They're going to go for the quick bucket. Oh, and it looked like it was all ball there from Emily Anderson. Nonetheless, they will go to the free throw line. They have not proved that they can shoot the ball well from the free throw line, so it might not be a bad foul here as number 11, Kristen Horn, goes to the charity strike. She rattles in the first one. This second one is huge because then it becomes a 3-possession game. And she misses the second one. Anderson rips it down and hands it to Gribble. They do not need a 3-point bucket here. They can settle for a 2. And Anderson with the follow cuts the lead to 4. Time just now under a minute to play here. And a steal from Anderson. Now here's Oliver pulling up for the jump shot. No good. Offensive rebound put up. Madison Kerr now with a huge offensive rebound. 40 ticks remaining, 4-point ball game. Had a chance to cut the lead down to either 2 or 3, depending on if she can make both free throws or not. And she misses the first. Now this is a huge free throw for Kerr. She misses 2 of 2. The biggest free throws of the ball game are missed by Madison Kerr. That was her first time at the charity strike, but those are free throws you cannot afford to miss this late in the ball game at crunch time. And now they will just swing it around. They have to foul now. And Megan Hendrick will go to the free throw line. And she sinks the first one. Nothing but nylon. Extends the lead to 6. They need to hurry up now. Now they definitely need a 3-point bucket. As Oliver's trying to dribble around everybody. And this time the layup is good. And a timeout will be called by the Bruins. But after missing 3 straight layups, Natalie Myers now makes the layup to cut the lead. But now they got to hope for misses. And honestly, the person that I would put on the free throw line right now that's out on the court, I mean, I would put Kristen Horn on the line, but she has not shot well from the charity strike today. It's one player you got to target. For someone who's not shot the ball well. See what they elect to do, but they cannot get the ball in the hands of Graves, Smith, or Hendrick if they have proved that they can hit the free throws tonight. But as I said earlier in the game, I mean, it was 14 points, and this game, the ebbs and flows of this game have been dead on since the opening tip. A huge run by the Elite, a huge run by the Bruins, a huge run by the Elite again, and then another run by the Bruins to cut the lead to a 4-point edge. I don't think the Bruins' late surge will be enough ultimately, but crazier things have happened. Hendrick is so cool from the line as she knocks it down to extend the lead back to 5. And she misses a second. They need a quick bucket here. You might need to pull up for 3. Gribble with a nice spin move off the glass. 4-point game. They need to foul quickly here. Now here's Hendrick. with 3.2. She is fouled, and that ball game will end now. The only question is what's going to be the final score. Hendrick knocks it down. Now 58-52 with 3 seconds to go. Make that 59. The half-court heave is no good, so this ball game will end. The Havoc City Elite 59 and the Western Pennsylvania Bruins 52. A very good game from both teams, but the Havoc City Elite speed proved to be too much for the Western Pennsylvania Bruins. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have another game right after this here on SCV TV. I'm Dean Krause. Stay tuned.